Dynamite download.
I don't know about you. I think obviously everybody thinks Orange Cassidy's been pretty hilarious with his gimmick, but Kip Sabian is pretty damn funny to me. His presentation as like sort of a little like smart ass pipsqueak who thinks he's tougher and cooler than he is. It's kind of wearing on me. He was one of my
Really?
least favorite guys in AEW, and I was really bumming out about his pairing with Miro because I'm such a Miro mark. But dude, Kip Sabian is wearing on me a little bit. I think I'm becoming a Sabian fan.
Really? That's
Yeah, I think I
surprising.
am. I find that like his presentation with Penelope Ford is so good. Like their entrance is excellent. They
I
they
agree.
work so well together. The one thing I'll say, he's actually quite good in the ring. Just the one thing I'll say is that he overacts sometimes in his matches to the point that he comes off as like kind of corny once in a while. Especially against someone who's so like Orange Cassidy is like very blasé. He's got that
Right.
lackadaisical attitude. So somebody who's kind of like an overactor like Kip, it stood out a little bit more tonight. But this was a good matchup as far as like they're both equally sized guys. I felt like their offense was kind of fun to watch together. What do you think about this one, SPD? I know that you seemed a little surprised by my positive take on Kip.
I'm not sold by Kip. I don't mind his gimmick. He the whole storyline with him versus Orange, it was just kind of interesting choice. I get the whole best friends and the best man and Kip and all that, but like I said last week, it should have been Chucky T, so they can trade one for one essentially. But Orange, the match itself was all right. The hands in the pants or the hands in the pockets, Orange Cassidy doesn't get old to me. It's very impressive. The whole gimmick. I love that the wrestlers his opponents will try to stop it, but when he finally gets his hands in his pockets and pulls those moves with that, it's really, really impressive. I mean, try laying on the ground with your hands in your pocket and then getting up. It's hard. If you can't kick yourself up like he
Right.
can, you got to
Right.
be rolling on the couch and do all
I
that.
don't I don't think I'd have a good chance at that with my core
I
strength.
feel like
I
I'm
understand.
pretty athletic, but I don't think I could, pop up like that. And so I like the fact that, we almost forget that Orange Cassidy defeated Jericho, and the commentators reiterating that. I thought that was a really good touch that they kept saying, Orange Cassidy beat Jericho 2 times. And speaking of commentators, Miro on commentary to me didn't do much.
No.
He wasn't impressive, and it didn't do that much, but it makes sense that he was out there. I'd rather have him run in from the commentator table than do an interference from like just the apron. So it was made it more meaningful in that part. My biggest issue with the whole match was the finish, man. I cannot stand roll up finishes. And for that, not just for that, but it's a delete for me. And that
Wow.
match is a delete. It
Yeah.
was it was pretty slow at some points, and I am an Orange Cassidy fan and a very good Miro fan too. But the roll up finishes, the mousetrap. I mean, even the fact that they call it the mousetrap makes it even worse. Call it like the Velociraptor, tranquilizer, something like
Yeah, the
that. Just
mousetrap
make
doesn't
it
do it for you,
sound
huh?
strong. Calling it the mousetrap is an absolute joke, in my opinion. So it's a delete for me. What about you?
Well, I mean, I know it's going to be controversial. Anytime you say anything bad about Orange Cassidy, a lot of people get bummed out and they get all
I
bent out of
like
shape.
Orange Cassidy. I'm a huge fan of him, and I support him. And his gimmick is great.
Everybody loves the best friends. Everybody loves Orange Cassidy. I'm not as high on OC as a lot of people, honestly. I tend to be more of an old school kind of guy. So I'm an FDR guy. I like Pac. There's certain guys. I like my offense to be brutal. I don't
Right.
like it to be as much of a joke. So Orange Cassidy's okay in my book. I feel like the match itself was probably the least successful overall on the night. I mean, not to talk poorly about it, but
No, it
this
did its
card was
job.
really stacked. I mean, and if I'm being
Yeah.
fair, it was
To
probably
be
the least
fair.
successful overall moment of the whole show. So for that reason, I feel like it does need to get a delete. It just does not hold up again with the rest of the show. I feel like the beatdown after the match, you saw on Twitter, I commented, I expected Miro to come running down after the match. I had a feeling Orange Cassidy was going to win this one, and then Miro was going to come down and beat him up.
Right.
I loved how Miro, like, he just came just flying down the ramp, hopped over the rope, and just absolutely took Orange Cassidy and flipped him inside out with that clothesline. It was brutal. I love that. And I always love seeing Miro get physical. That guy is an absolute monster. And this is an example of like how we can't be so quick to judge in today's culture. Like so many people are so fast to fire things off on Twitter and like say their opinions and really speak, like judge, be quick to judge, you know, the jump to conclusions, Matt, way too fast. And for me, like if you would have asked me like about Miro, his debut, and if you would have had me give a hot take early on, you know, you could have just crapped all over that, right? You could have said it was awful, but I'm really starting to come around to Miro as this like laid back, funny guy who's on Twitch and likes to play video games, and then just has this like switch that he can flip where he will literally rip your arms off and beat you down with your own arm. He has this temper and this violence, and this is like this burst that few people have, right? I mean, he's a physical freak, and I mean, as far as pound for pound strength, I mean, he looks the best he's ever looked in his career.
Right.
I just love that. I'm kind of starting to come around to like this like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing that's got going on. Laid back video gamer who can also beat the shit out of you. I like that. So that said, I'm not loving the feud overall. I think it's okay. I think that obviously it does give the best friends something to do for a little while. We've seen them get title shots and come up short against FTR. So it's good that they have something else to work through. I don't know how long Miro and Sabian are going to work together as far as a team goes. And eventually I do think that Miro is going to need to break away, or Kip's going to just kind of need to be in more of a managerial type of role. I just don't see Miro's talents being utilized in this current pairing as far as like a long-term plan. It's working right now. And like I said, it's helping Sabian get over a little bit, but I feel like Miro is the rare star that you have to allow him to shine on his own eventually, right?
For sure.
He won't ever be the guy that you hired him to be unless he's on his own 2 feet.